What is going on, guys? It's Jagnal back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite feature, the thing I enjoy the most in college football 26. But before we get into it, man, this game's been a roller coaster. I mean, everyone was super hyped about it, and then it came out and people were like, wow, this game sucks, it's a buggy mess. And now after a few updates, I would say it's in a pretty solid place. I don't really think there's gonna be that many updates at this point. Like, I know it's September and the game's been out for a few months, but typically at this point, the updates that come out are probably just gonna be like uniforms and stuff, which again, I'm actually still surprised that EA would just give us these uniforms for free. Like, I really think Ultimate Team is the reason why we get these free updates. And I know you're thinking, what do you mean free updates? Well, remember in NCAA 14, you had to buy the uniform packs. So that's actually kind of crazy that College Football 26 hasn't really been as pay to win as it could be, especially in like the Road to Glory. Like, Madden has been full pay to win. Like, they have a battle pass or some crap like that. I know there's a field pass in like in Ultimate Team, but I think they're restricting like the pay to win factor to that game mode. And if you want to be someone that spends a lot of money on that game or that game mode, go for it, I guess. I honestly haven't been playing Ultimate Team as much as I did in 25. I don't know. I'd rather play Dynasty, and that's something that's I've always played Dynasty, and I genuinely think Dynasty mode is what got a lot of the updates, and I think they've done a great job with Dynasty in my opinion. So let's talk about my favorite feature. So my favorite feature by far, after doing multiple dynasties, online dynasties, all these different ones, team builder, has been the revamped transfer portal. Like, genuinely, the transfer portal is one of the coolest, and I'm honestly like, it's so much fun to really like see how everything is going to play out throughout the season, because if you don't play a person enough, their deal breakers are going to hit, and next thing you know, they're going to transfer because of playing time. Or let's say you're expected to be pretty good, your championship contender is solid, and you have a down year. Now you have a bunch of players leaving. Of course, this is pretty common. Like, year one, when you come in with a new, like with the roster that comes in with the game, typically after year one, you do see like kind of a mass exodus, and then afterwards it kind of starts to level out, which I'm actually okay with that. I'm doing a dynasty with a team builder team, and I replaced FAU, and I decided to take over as FAU's roster, which I'll be honest, actually isn't a bad idea. I definitely think that is something that I would recommend a lot of people do, because especially if you're creating multiple schools with like the same template, the names will be the same. Unless you actually customize the rosters and names on the website, which you can totally do. I personally don't want to do that. Just replacing the roster with the team you're replacing actually isn't a bad idea. So I did that for FAU, and we went 10-2 in the American, and we didn't make the playoffs. And everyone wanted to leave because we had a good year. Now everyone wants to leave for championship contender or pro potential and playing time. And I ended up losing my quarterback, my halfback. I lost a bunch of players, and I was actually really bummed out. I couldn't get any of my players to start. But as the transfer portal takes, it also gives. And that meant, although my quarterback was fun, he was cool, but he wasn't exactly who I wanted. I always like using a running quarterback. So I went to the transfer portal, and look, there was a guy, I think his name is, it was Cameron Dyer from Arizona State. He was a freshman that year, and I guess because of playing time, because Sam Levitt came back, he decided to enter the portal, and he came over to my school, and he's been an absolute like blast to play with. And the thing is like, if my other quarterback didn't transfer, I probably wouldn't have gone to the portal and go after a quarterback. And that quarterback probably thought this other school would have been a better fit for him. And I just think it's really good for like just being able to turn over a roster pretty quick. Now, another thing that's been super awesome for me and really helped me out when it comes to like online dynasties. So I've been doing an online dynasty where I've been playing as Old Dominion, and I didn't realize that they had arguably one of the worst rosters in college football. I think they were like a 64 overall. It was really bad. And then when I went 3-9 because we made like a super conference, and there was a bunch of user on user games, and I just kept getting cooked. The thing is that a bunch of my players left, but because the transfer portal there's a lot of players in the portal, you can still get some decent players. And I actually ended up upgrading my roster because there was a lot of players from power schools that they didn't get the playing time, or they're a third stringer. So like, I ended up taking, I think, North Carolina's backup quarterback, Tyler Chambers, I think that's what his name is. and he always enters the portal. Now I think it's because of playing time, but like that's the great thing about the transfer portal in 2025. I know there's a lot of things with NIL and stuff, but that's not in the game. Like you're not gonna see your quarterback leave because you didn't give him a $10 million contract or whatever. Like it's a lot of things like playing time or championship contender or proximity to home. Like those things can be really helpful, and you may have to focus on like the proximity to home or playing time at the start so you can get players that will come and will probably stick around because those aren't the main deal breakers, or they're not going to change because, you know, if you're not moving the school and they're probably going to be a starter for you anyway, so proximity to home and playing time, you know, isn't going to really be an issue. But then as you start to level up, you can now start going for the transfers that care about championship contender or coach prestige, and you get better and better players. And also another thing is like it almost attaches personalities to the recruits, because that's how it is in real life. Like you have some players that are just loyal, like they'll stick around, and those are like the players that are like the proximity to home. Like those are the ones that you have an A+ proximity to home, they're the hometown kid and they're gonna stay no matter what. And then you have some of the guys that care a lot about brand exposure. They want that NIL. And of course, if you're on ODU, you're never going to be able to do that. Maybe in 10 years, if you create a powerhouse, like those guys are going to leave. So it also changed a lot with like the guys you recruit out of high school. It's almost like recruiting the right culture fit guys. I genuinely think it's just such a fun thing, especially when you get multiple years, because at this point, once you're 4 years into the future, none of the real players exist anymore, and it's all just randomly generated guys. And it's really cool to see like what schools do and how they manage their rosters and recruiting and see who does better or not. Again, this is such a cool feature, and I am just, another thing is, one thing is like being able to tweak the settings. I haven't felt the need to do it, but I've seen times where people would turn the settings to the max and just watch the transfer portal go crazy. Like you can really create some insane scenarios where the transfer portal, everyone leaves, or you can make it to where your team is, you know, maybe you somehow lock down your roster. Let's say you had a big booster lock down your roster, you turn down the transfer portal for your team to 0. You know, there's a lot of cool scenarios that you can make. Or you could set it up to the max to where like you want your entire roster to leave. You're coming in Deion Sanders. He got his own luggage and it's Louis. You know that whatever Deion Sanders said like a few years ago. I just think that there's so much that you can do when it comes to roster building with the transfer portal, especially if you're a smaller school, because when you're a smaller school, high school recruiting is still really difficult, which is fine. I actually think that's great, because high school recruiting, and it's all based off of hours. Like you can only put so many hours across. You can't put 50 hours into every recruit if you're a small school, because you'll just run out of hours. So being able to get guys out of high school and then develop them into maybe get like a star 3-star or star dev 3-star player, put them on the bench, let them develop, and then get a transfer guy. And it's just such a great feature. And I would say my second favorite feature, I'm just give you a little 2-for-1 special, would probably be the fact that of the manual upgrades. The manual upgrading is probably one of my next favorite things, because it really allows you to build your roster and build your players into exactly what you want them to be. What I mean by that is, let's say you want to be a running team. You want to run the ball. Well, what you can do is you can really focus your offensive line on the run blocking and impact blocks and lead blocks. You can really focus on those things, maybe not as much on pass blocking. Same thing with your tight ends. Instead of going for route running or catching, you put them on blocking so that they can also really help you out in the run game. And then for your running backs, you can go in on things like elusiveness that helps with their breaking tackles or their speed or giving them the abilities. Or, for example, if you're going to like air it out, you make your offensive linemen really good at pass blocking, and then you give your receivers, really quick speed. Like, let's say you really want one receiver to be a speed demon, and then the rest of your guys, you want them to be good route runners. Like, you can really focus on that. And I think that's cool, because I think that's something that obviously, like, if you're focusing on like one specific thing, every player wants to get better at everything, but some players, it's easier for them to just get a little quicker or upgrade their hands or their catching ability. Like, that's how it is in real life. And I think focusing on those strengths is really where it allows you to customize the roster and build it and develop it however you want. Because, like, I've been using Motivator a lot when it comes to like the skill trees, and using Motivator and getting those training boosts like in the 3rd tier, like if you did like the 3rd level when you're upgrading your abilities, that is such a great thing, because that's the reason why my roster at Old Dominion went from a 64 to like a 74 in one off season. Because while my recruiting suffered in high school, like it was pretty bad, I did get a decent transfer portal class because I got a lot of guys that were they just wanted to come home, you know, the proximity to home, playing time, all that. Got a bunch of people that were like in the Virginia, North Carolina area, and then I leveled them up. Like they got a huge training boost. We were able to develop them. So I really think that just because of that, it really makes it just so much fun. And then also the other abilities too, like Recruiter is going to be really helpful at maybe high school recruiting, like maybe high school recruiting, transfers, like all these different abilities now have their strength. I really think that the Motivator is one of the strongest ones in terms of being able to actually like carve out the roster to what you want to be. But if you really want to get to that maximum potential, you're eventually going to need like a strong recruiter. And then of course Tactician is like that easy way of getting those boosts to those overalls, and that's really, you can get like those, that's an easy way to get a roster that sucks to maybe a little manageable. So I really think because of that, Dynasty is in such a good state from like the fundamental standpoint. Of course, the gameplay could always be improved. I think it's solid at this point. Like I haven't been seeing as much of the reverse dunk animations. I've seen like it's like they toned it down a bit. Like I still see drops, which is fine. Like players drop the ball. It was mainly that animation that was pissing me off. But generally, I'm enjoying this game in terms of Dynasty. All the other game modes, let me know if you want me to make one on Road to Glory. I do have some interesting thoughts there. Same with Ultimate Team, but that's gonna be it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Me talking about like my favorite feature. I would say new feature, but Transfer Portal has been in College Bowl 25, but it was pretty bad in the old version. But it's solid now, and I love how you could customize everything. Let me know what your thoughts is. What are you playing? Are you still playing College Bowl 26? Or have you not upgraded yet? Are you thinking about it? Honestly, at this point, guys, if you have not upgraded to College Bowl 26, wait for it to go on sale. It's going to go on sale at some point. Just hold it out. Do not pay full price for this game. Genuinely. Like, if you've already waited this long, just wait for it to go on sale. And especially, it'll have all the updates. And that's honestly not a bad idea. Like, genuinely, it's not a bad idea because the game still is, like, not... Like, the game wasn't fully finished until, like, a few weeks ago. So, we're going to end it here, guys. Let me know, or, I mean, we're also, one thing we're looking at this game, I have been doing Team Builder a lot. I've been doing exclusively Team Builder, and I still think Team Builder is awesome. I'm loving it. I know the whole thing with the end zones still pisses me off, but I'm getting over it. I'm getting over it a little bit. I hope it gets updated in College Bowl 27. If it comes out in an update, I'm gonna sing all my praises to the devs. They also changed it to now it says Go Team when it does like the little when they have the two teams come up. So they actually did update that, which is cool. Like I'm actually surprised that they updated. So instead of it saying like whatever the school you're replacing slogan is, like it wouldn't say like fear the spear or whatever. It'll say Go Team, which is fine. Like that's generic. I'm okay with that. Also, I have a series of me talking about my favorite stadiums, so I'll put that up on the screen of the best stadiums to use for Team Builder. But other than that, this has been Jagnal, and I will talk to you guys next time.